ladies and gentlemen of SeemsGoodMagic.com. This is Travis Simulant Sowers, and we are jumping into some more Aether Revolting drafts. Let's see what we get here. It looks like a pretty easy treasure keeper to me. I have treasure. I need it kept. And this is just the guy for the job. Now, there's a couple other options here. Caught in the Brights is a strong card. It's a good removal spell. I like it a lot. Treasure Keeper being colorless means we can play it in any deck that we play. It's going to be great in any of those decks. It's almost guaranteed a 2-for-1 at some point in the game. Like, it's just a strong value card. Now, if specifically we go into white, that deck may prefer Caught in the Brights. But we can take this, see what we get past, and take anything. I think we're pretty happy with that. So there's not many cards I would take over a removal spell first pick. But Treasure Keeper is one of them. Secret Salvage doesn't actually do anything in Limited. I found Death Dismissal to be just a worse impeccable timing. And I've played with Perilous Predicament some, and it's ranged from okay to good. But I think Treasure Keeper is just where it's at. That leaves us open to potentially gamble some here if we'd like to. I think there's a lot of reasonable picks here. The Rogue Refiner is very good, specifically in blue-green. Unbridled Growth is fine. The Aether Poisoner is really good in black. I have yet to play with Aspire Patrol. Like, the decks that are the most fun and the most nutty are kind of the Rogue Refiner ones. I think you'd have a pretty... I think we've got a pretty difficult decision between the Rogue Refiner and the Aether Poisoner. Like, the Aether Poisoner, again, has the value of if we end up in black, we can play it. And we're far more likely to end up in black plus one of the other 4 colors than specifically blue-green. But maybe it's okay, since I made a safe pick, pack one, pick one, to go a little wild here and take that Rogue Refiner. Like, the energy payoffs in Kaladesh are still there. We only get 1 pack of it, but it's there. And, like, this doesn't mean we're blue-green, but it means we'd kind of like to be. That said, you probably don't ignore a Release the Gremlins. Tezzeret's Touch, not the uncommon I want to go in for. You could take a map here and not be too far off, right? But I think this is close to first pickable, and I've seen it be very good. It wrecked me in a PTQ today on stream. It's a very strong card. The Dawnfeather Eagle's really good too. But I think we're pretty interested in this. We probably don't get to play it with the Rogue Refiner. Maybe we do. All right, this pack doesn't really have much going on for it at all, with the possible exception of a Drake, which is just fine. Audacious Infiltrator, again, just fine. Destructive Tampering goes fine in a red deck. If I'm playing red, I want to have Destructive Tampering. But I'm not, 100% sure that's what we're doing. Blue-green is still a possibility. I feel like the Drake's just the best card here. It's not, broken, but it can win games. I also kind of think red might be one of the not-so-hot colors in this format. So, I almost want to keep the dream alive of blue-green splash or release the Gremlins. We'll at least give that one more turn. All right, maybe we can do blue-green. Not only is this a cat monkey, which I like a lot, also of note, there's an automaton here. I would like one of these in my blue decks. But Scrounging Bandar is probably the best green 2-drop you have available here. And we're seeing some good blue-green cards here, right? Like the Automaton, the Bandar. I'll play both of these. Of note, I've been happy main decking 1 4th Bridge Prowler in my black decks. But I do think I'd like to splash release the Gremlin, so I'm going to take the next map I see pretty highly. I still don't think I take that card as highly as other people, but... Well. Then there was Chandra's Revolution. Maybe if we're just going to get all the good red cards, we should do that. Because Release plus Chandra's Revolution is certainly a reason to be doing that. Now we have a pretty clear signal that no one is playing red-white. Now it's going to hurt to cut these. It's going to hurt a lot. Maybe to the point that we need to not do it. Because there is still good blue-green cards. if everything comes together as planned, we can splash a couple cards and, you know, do a 3-color travesty of a deck. But I've been really impressed with Will Smith. Yeah, it's early enough I'm going to take this. All of these cards don't go together, but some of them do. I'm not up for a planar bridge. I kind of wish I'd just taken the other card there, because I think I'm going to take the Trophy Mage. And probably just not play this. Well, man, what a weird draft. Like, the Infiltrator's fine if we're going to play the Will Smith. Opalescence is a fine main deck / sideboard card. I'm going to take the Infiltrator and we'll figure out where we're going later. This is such a weird draft so far. That's decent filler if you're white. I mean, it ain't great. And this is good if you're blue. All right, let's hopefully open something and push us into a direction. Like, we've got a start of a blue-red deck, and then we've got these cards that kind of want to be in a deck, but I'm not sure if they want to be splashed or main decked or what we're doing with them. There's so many good 3-drop artifacts that I like a Trophy Mage, even if you don't have something to get with it, especially one that we're going to get that late. I think I would happily pick a Renegade map first here, just so we have the option of playing some of these cards. Thopterist may be the exception, right? Like, we could just take that, be blue-red, look for some artifacts, see what comes our way. I could kind of get behind that. Red seemed open from the other direction, so did blue. And, like, here's a card to kind of put us in a color. I think I can be down with that. This is usually this is quite often a 2-drop, or a 3-drop. It's not always one, but yeah, if blue-red is an option and we're going to open the blue-red gold card, let's just take that. We'll get all the gold cards. We'll play them all. Right? I'm not willing to splash for a Rogue Refiner unless we have some ridiculous energy payoffs. I was thinking we first pick map there and go for it, but well, that's really strange to see Henny's Expertise there. Because that card is phenomenal, and it kind of scares me. Like, what are they in? Maybe they open the green Mini Hulk. I could see that, because Aether Swooper is probably what we want. We'd be interested in Implement of Examination too, but not over a Swooper. That gives us an artifact plus something that can attack and block. I guess green is still open as an out, in that I could splash these 3 cards, but like, it would take ridiculous fixing for that to happen. And whatever happens, I think we're certainly in blue. Remind me to pick up a 3-drop artifact somewhere, otherwise she's not so much of a trophy, is she? All right, I'm kind of out of things to say at this point. Monstrous Onslaught is a confirmed bomb. Hungry Flames is pretty good too. I mean, Hungry Flames is great. Monstrous Onslaught's absurd. Red is certainly open. Was it supposed to be red-green? Was that the answer all along? I don't know. I feel like I've sort of settled into this color combination. Yeah, I guess it's open. Would like an Aether Chaser, but I'm going to take these guys and see if we can fill out the 2-drop slot a little later. Maybe I'm greedy. I could believe I'm greedy. So we'll take this, and I should see one more of those, and that may not be what we want. I really want to have a 3-drop artifact to get with the Trophy Mage. I like this implement enough anyway, and it can help us convoke these out or whatever. Shipwrecked Bill Murray, huh? Like, there's probably more value in this than to a Night Market Guard. I still have no idea what's going on with this draft. Like, there's some good cards still here. There's also plenty of artifacts we can pick up in Kaladesh. A Weldfast Monitor I think would be pretty good here. We can main deck a Negate too. if we need to. But we're sitting at like 8 creatures if we count the gremlins, which I do. Even an Eager Construct would be acceptable. Here's where we're really hoping to see something like the 3-mana Falter effect, any 2-drop in these colors. If I'd known this was the direction we were heading, I was going to say I would have taken one of those Watchful Automatons earlier, but I'm not unhappy to see it here. It feels like every color is open and no color is open, but that's been my experience so far in this draft format. It's a strange one. We're going to need some 2s. Ice Over does a decent 2-drop impersonation. Like, you can't play it on turn 2, but it's a decent card to have. It's not great, but it's decent. I would probably play 2 Implements of Examination, because the Trophy Mage, if you've only got one thing to get, is kind of a problem. I guess we've got the Automaton now. All right. I'm in. All right, so I can take another Automaton or a Dispersal Technician. I've seen this range from okay to not so good. I'm actually going to go for the Automaton here. No, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah. Like, I take that, we get a Gear Seeker Serpent, we're happy we got it. A lot of do-nothing going on here, Travis. This is basically a Mox in this deck, right? Like, yeah. I'm not going to want 2 negates. There, we got a Dispersal Technician anyway. Neat. I'll probably play that. And I wield the Destructive Tampering. Okay, we want a Gear Seeker Serpent and a bunch of 2-drop Eager Constructs, and we're good to go. Would also accept Thriving Grubs, because they're just so thriving. Just so thriving. It felt like red was open from the other direction more so than this one, so perhaps we can get something going there. Here, I think we'll just take this Workshop Assistant. We can find it with the Trophy Mage. We can use it to improvise out our Maverick Thopterist. Or we could take Saheeli's Artistry. We could kind of just take this pack, couldn't we? It's got 2 2-drops we're interested in, a gold card for our color. We would certainly play 1 turtle in this, and I think the Peafowl too. This is a stacked pack, but Saheeli's Artistry is a stone cold bomb. So we'll take that. Do I want Grubs or a Theorist? The Grubs play a little bit better with the Destructive Tampering. The Theorist plays a little bit better with our late game. I think I actually want the first Theorist more than the first Grubs, which kind of makes me sick to my stomach because I really like Grubs. And the rough part is I don't want multiple Theorists. I also don't care for Deadlock Trap. It's here, but it's kind of a bad tumble magnet. Like, I've never wanted this card in any of my decks, even if it's searchable. But I think I do want the first Theorist. I guess basically what happened is everybody started first picking green cards, didn't get there with them, and then because of that, green became open when it wasn't. I'm trying to understand what's happening and can't. We're going to take the Fireweaver. It'll probably do 3 or 4 damage to our opponent, and we just need some blockers. Yeah, this is such a weird draft. Such a weird draft. We need the last few cards we take to be creatures to fill out this deck. I don't really want to play a Narnum Cobra, but I may have to. This is where I was wanting to pick up a Gear Seeker Serpent. Tezzeret's Ambition would normally be a consideration for what we're doing. I don't think it's particularly good here because we're already playing 2 implements. We could take a Torch Gauntlet, like it'll be okay with the Thopter tokens, but then I'm going to end up having to cut a spell for something, which could end up being one of these. Gosh, I don't want to play a Narnum Cobra. I really don't want the Torch Gauntlets either. Like, they only go with these. Off-color Cobra it is. Okay. We've got some cards here. For curve purposes, would I rather have the Spontaneous Artist? Because the Aether Torch Renegade got a lot better than it used to be. It's a legitimate pinger now. I think I'm going to default to that and hope we see one more card. Because like there's so many 3-1s in this format these days. Maybe we can upgrade that Cobra to like an Eager Construct and call it a deck. Is that asking too much? Wow, and then DePaula. What in the world, man? Anybody watching, can you tell what was open here? Because I certainly couldn't. The Mastodon is usually pretty good. I could see playing it over the Dispersal Technician potentially. I'm actually going to take Spark of Creativity here, though, even though I don't like the card and am not planning on main decking it. If we're playing somebody who's exceptionally aggressive, we could bring that in. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. We can make room for a P-Foul, though. It might just get in over one of these Watchful Automatons. I think I want exactly one. I could also cut one of the implements. I'm not sure which we'll do there, so we'll just leave it at 22 for now and then decide from there. We're a couple cards off of perfect, but this deck can win some games. I might even play an Aether Trade Winds and 14 creatures. We've got a little bit of value there in bouncing our energy dudes, potentially bouncing the Thopterist. I could also see Incendiary Sabotage being quite good in a certain matchup. I don't know that it's good enough for us to want to main deck it. It kills a lot of our dudes, but not all of them. And you can usually build a board state where it doesn't. I've talked myself into wanting this. Like if the last card... Yeah, I guess we should have taken the grubs and tried to wheel that. We could play 2 Theorists. I also don't understand that underhanded designs going that late. The turtle's all right. It's really only good if you can hit it on turn 1. I don't think we have much else to do with the energy. I'll just take a Theorist and probably call it a deck. I don't usually like playing 2 of these, but sure. Take a trap here. If there's a matchup where we want it, we can. Now that we've got all these Theorists, it starts to look a little better. That was a weird draft. Really weird draft. These guys are not bad if you're playing a Destructive Tampering main. Well, I mean, they're still pretty bad. They trade with everything. But like if you can get it through, 5 damage is a lot of damage. I think I'm fairly happy with this as the deck. Like I said, it kind of felt strange not knowing what was open, but we've got some legitimate bombs and some good removal and some good cards. So like removal spells, we've got Revolution, Gremlins, Tampering, Flames, and Ice Over is kind of a bad one. We've got a little bit of card draw, and then just a lot of enter the battlefield effects on the top end that I like. We're okay in the air. We've got a pinger, and like I said, this guy got a lot better in this format where everybody's playing a bunch of 3-1s. Not in love with the Narnum Cobra, but I could see maybe cutting that. I like having an artifact to try to convoke out the Maverick Thopterist and just trade with stuff. Like the downside with that, I guess with the other Aether's Theorist, maybe I don't need this. And I can just play kind of anything, right? We could consider main decking the Sabotage. We could potentially play that. We could play the other Watchful Automaton. Could even play a Crawler if we have to, but that's a little bit too much mana for me. I think I'm going to try a main deck Sabotage. If it's bad, we'll take it out. Doesn't seem too crazy. I think this is 9/8 blue. That does make the Sabotage a little worse, but I don't think I'm going to have trouble getting artifacts into play, right? Like we've got all of these cards to make them. Maybe that's just crazy. Let's try it for game one, and if it doesn't work out so well, we can consider taking it out. But I've seen so many aggressive decks in this format. It's pretty terrible against green. But because it's instant speed, you can engineer some blocks first and then pull it off, perhaps. I'm willing to give this a go. Alrighty, let's load this bad boy up, and I'll see y'all for round one in just a moment.